My name is Amy Carter. I am 29, working at a nonprofit in Brooklyn. And everything I am today comes from growing up unseen in a family that only valued perfection. I grew up in a respectable town in New York, where my father was a well-known lawyer and my mother ran a prestigious private school. My older sister Lucy was always the center of attention, confident, brilliant, and admired by everyone around her. She excelled in school, led social circles, and later joined a top financial firm, becoming the pride of our family. I was quieter, drawn to social issues, choosing nonprofit work after college, which my parents saw as unimpressive and embarrassing. At every family gathering, conversations revolved around Lucy, her career, her relationships, while I was barely acknowledged at all. I met Jack on a rainy night when my apartment flooded, and he arrived quickly to fix everything with quiet, skill, and honesty. He refused extra payment, saying fairness mattered. And in that moment, I felt something genuine I had never felt before. Jack owned a small plumbing business and once worked as a fraud investigator, giving him a sharp eye for hidden truths. He met my family at Thanksgiving, where they immediately judged him for his job and treated him with clear disdain. Lucy's fiancé, David, impressed them instantly. Dressed in luxury, speaking confidently, fitting perfectly into their expectations. Jack remained calm, polite, and unnoticed, while my parents praised David and ignored everything Jack said. Months later, Jack was called to repair plumbing in a luxury apartment, which turned out to belong to David. While working, Jack overheard a tense phone call about debt, money, and waiting until after the wedding to fix everything. After David left briefly, Jack found documents showing a $127,000 debt tied to offshore gambling platforms. David returned, panicked, tried to explain, and even offered money to keep Jack silent, which Jack refused. Jack investigated further and discovered David was lying about his career and hiding serious financial and legal issues. He brought me the evidence, and I realized my sister was about to marry a man built entirely on deception. I tried to tell my mother, but she dismissed me, accusing me of jealousy and refusing to believe anything Jack found. For the first time, I felt the full weight of being invisible, even when I was trying to protect my own family. We decided to wait for the right moment, knowing the truth needed to be undeniable when it finally surfaced. Lucy later removed me from the bridal party, placing me as a distant guest, treating me like an outsider again. At the wedding, I sat at a table near the restroom, unnoticed, while everything around me celebrated a lie. I left an envelope for Lucy, containing a letter, Jack's invoice, and all the evidence about David's hidden life. Then I walked away before anything unfolded, choosing not to stay and watch what would happen next. That night, Lucy confronted David, and everything collapsed behind closed doors while the wedding continued in silence. My parents called me in anger, accusing me of destroying everything, but I knew I had simply revealed the truth. Days later, messages came blaming me, but I chose distance, refusing to carry their anger any longer. Weeks later, someone told me Lucy had seen everything clearly and knew David could not explain any of it. Months passed, and Lucy eventually left him after realizing he would never change or take responsibility. She called me for the first time, admitting I was right, asking if we could talk, unsure if she deserved that chance. I told her I needed time, because years of being unseen could not be undone in a single conversation. Life moved forward, and I built something real with Jack, a home filled with quiet stability and honesty. My parents still called occasionally, but our conversations stayed shallow, avoiding everything that mattered. Then one day, Lucy sent me a handwritten apology, acknowledging everything she had done and everything she had ignored. I placed it beside a photo of my students calling me their favorite teacher, something I never thought I would hear. For the first time, I understood I was no longer invisible, and I no longer needed their validation to exist. I spoke the truth, endured the consequences, and found peace in knowing I chose honesty over silence. I don't know what the future holds for my family, but I know I will never lose myself to be accepted again. Because in the end, I learned that facing truth, no matter how painful, is the only way to truly be free.